morning. Say good morning, Tennis. Good morning, Tennis. Yes, I'm a little off, far off, it seems. Um, yes, today is May 11th, I believe, and I worked 2 days in a row. Pretty tired, but had a good night's sleep last night. Thank you, Father God. And I wanted to talk about the finishing up my top 10 list. The last time I think I posted a video, I was considering number 8, 9, and 10. Now that 1 through 7 are done, and the favorite films, and I actually took two out, and I didn't take them out of the list of if it went further than the top 10, but I did take it out of the top 10, and I kept one and added two more new ones because I was thinking over some films that had not come uh, into my radar that need to be on. I feel need to be on there. And number 8 is The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg. I think that is one that probably should even be higher if I looked over the list because The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg is a very spiritually profound film. It's probably the most spiritual film I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of. I mean, I've seen the Ten Commandments and Ben Hur and all that, and I guess you can call those spiritual. But the way I the way I would describe The Color Purple is, as far as being a spiritual film, is that it's a film that's very spiritual, uh, talks about God, uh, and is very filled with love. I mean, there's so much love. I remember reading a review. I think it might even be on the back of the DVD where the reviewer said there was not a frame of the film that was not graced with love, and I think that is so true. It's such a great review because it's like that. And even though there's so much tragedy in what the many characters, there are many characters in this film, but Celie, obviously, not obviously, but Celie is what the story, what The Color Purple is really about, her journey. And for those who live under a rock, Steven Spielberg is considered probably one of the great American directors next to Martin Scorsese, who I personally don't care for, but too much violence. Uh, but Steven Spielberg, I mean, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Jaws, E.T., uh, Schindler's List. I mean, he has done not just great films, but also films that, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not in the same vein. They all have different, they might have the same theme or the same message, but they're all so varied in the subject matter. And that's the truth with The Color Purple. And I remember when he directed it, it was nominated for a lot of Academy Awards, and I don't think it won even one. And Out of Africa won a lot that year, which is a great film, by the way. I'm not taking anything away from Out of Africa, but I think the Academy ignored it because there was a lot of flack from the African American community that they got a white Jewish director to direct a film about African Americans. And while I can understand where they're coming from with that, um, I don't I don't like that. I mean, I don't. Not that I don't like that, but I think that he did such a fantastic job. I wouldn't care if he's green, or yellow, or blue. I mean, he just had his grasp on what this story is about, The Color Purple, and what this story is about. Like I said, is a story about Celie, and she starts off as a young girl, and she has a sister named Nettie, and it's really about them being torn apart and her relationship with her husband, Mister. And then it's really turns into a story about forgiveness and about mostly about love and and I mean, I'm talking deep love. I'm talking real affection and real affectation. I mean, there's just there's so much. It's hard to to do a review of that film because there's so many, like the reviewer said, there's so many images of it that are just graced in love. But it really is just like I said, the story of this one woman named Celie, who's an African American woman. Back, I guess the story starts, I think, in the 30s or something, quite far back, and what she has to go through. But what she goes through And what she finds in this story is herself. She finds her independence. She finds a way to finally stand up to her husband, Mister. And this scene, like there's two scenes in this film that I recall with such fondness and stay or etched in my memory in my heart. And the very first one is actually the opening of the scene. The scene opens with a bunch of flowers, purple flowers, and then there's a scene with camera work that is extraordinary, where Nettie, who is Celi's sister, by the way, they like I said, they get separated and don't meet until the very end. Uh, but they're running through a field of purple flowers, and it's the music and the camera running with them, and Nettie just so. Celi's pregnant at the time by her father, by the way, and Nettie is just running through the flowers with Celie, and Celi's trying to catch up with her, and the music and everything. It's just one of the most beautiful scenes in the film. And the other one is the one where she stands up to Mister. You know, my therapist has pointed out this scene to me a lot when when he knows I struggle to stand on my own 2 feet and stand up for myself. And it's really an extraordinary scene. I'd hate to give too much away, but what it is that Mister goes to hit her, and she puts her hands out to him like this to stop him. And this was a woman who was beaten by him like God only knows how many times. And I think her line was like, "Whatever you've done to me, you've already done to yourself," and that's so true too. And then she's driving away with Suge, her one of her best friends, Suge Avery, and she says, and I'm gonna get the order wrong, I guess, but she says, "Hey, I may be black, I may be poor, I may be ugly, but I'm here. By God, I'm here." Almost crying by that because it's such a revelation for her. It's an acceptance of herself and a standing up for herself. Now, acting wise, Whoopi Goldberg is not somebody that I'm a fan of at all. But her performance in Color Purple is extraordinary performance. Danny Glover plays Mister. He's also extraordinary. I don't know the name of the actress who played Nettie, but there was actually a young girl who played Celie before Whoopi Goldberg took over. I don't know her name either, but she was extraordinary. And Suge Avery was played by uh, what's her name? Margaret Avery. She was brilliant. And then Oprah Winfrey, another one I'm not a big fan of, played Sophia, who was one of the characters who had a real tragic life in the film. And she was married to Harpo, who was one of Mister's children. And she's quite good. And like I said, the film received numerous Academy Awards nominations, including Best Picture, Best Actress, Whoopi Goldberg, Best Supporting Actress, both Margaret Avery as Suge Avery and Sophia, Oprah Winfrey as Sophia, and then Best Director Steven Spielberg. And I remember, in fact, there's something called the Directors Guild of America, which is a separate thing from the Academy Awards, but Steven Spielberg had won that year. And usually, I would say 9 times out of 10, whoever wins Best Director for the Directors Guild of America goes on to win the Academy Award. But that, like I said, that year Out of Africa swept the Academy Awards and winning Best Picture and Best Director by Sidney Pollack. Beautiful film, don't get me wrong, beautiful. Meryl Streep in it. Like I said, if she's in a film, chances are it's going to be a great film. And it is a great film. It's very beautiful. But The Color Purple was the Color Purple should have won definitely Best Picture and most definitely Best Director. I mean, Steven Spielberg does such a fantastic job. I mean, here's a man who can make something like Close Encounters and Jaws and make these films so entertaining, but also make them so um, effective and so interesting with the special effects that he uses. And he always uses the same musical composer, John Williams, who does all his musical scores. And the music in Color Purple was beautiful. I remember I had the soundtrack. I used to listen to it all the time. And but yeah, it was really a shame that the Academy ignored the film. And of course, it got a lot of racial flack about that because the African American community felt like it was snubbed. But the African American community, at least the ones that stepped forward and were outraged that they had found a white Jewish director direct Color Purple, might have hurt the chances of it winning the Oscars that it should have won. But like I said, I can't recommend this film highly enough, The Color Purple. If you have not seen it, I actually gave a copy of it to my boss, Mr. P, because him and I have a different spiritual beliefs system. But I told him, I said, this is a film to watch with your family, Mr. P. He has two boys and a wife. I said it's very spiritual, in and I read the book. I tried to read the book. I tried to read the book twice. The first time we couldn't get through like I don't know how many pages. Second time I got through about like 3/4 of it. But for some reason, and the same thing in the movie, when when she does find these letters that Nettie has been sending her. Nettie went to Africa when they were separated to become a missionary, and she sends Celie these letters, but Mister tells her not to ever check the mailbox, and he's been accumulating all the letters that Nettie has been sending her, and her and Suge finds them one day, and they read through the letters. And in the movie, it works very beautifully, but in the book, to me, it went way too many letters and too much about what Nettie was going through Africa, in Africa, and it took away from Celie's story. I found so I couldn't get through the book, so I can't give it the praise, but I knew it won a Pulitzer Prize. So the story itself, like I said, is one that's so beautiful, and but it is based on the book by Alice Walker, quite well known book and a quite well loved book. But I think the movie, for those who see it, will love it. I think there's so much in it. There's humor, there is drama. It's probably one of all the films on my top 10 list that probably has so many. And I was talking about this, I think, when I was trying to do a review last night. It's like it almost has all the nine fruits of the spirit for those in the know of the Bible. I mean, it's got all the nine fruits of the spirit: peace, joy, love, patience, faithfulness, gentleness, kindness. Uh, ooh, I'm losing some self control. I know is one, but I left out one. Uh, oh no, I should go back. Wait, peace, joy, love, patience, faithfulness. Did I say that? Gentleness, goodness, kindness, and self control. It sort of has all those nine fruits of the spirit, which I think is interesting. But yeah, The Color Purple by Steven Spielberg. It was directed in the 80s, I believe. Yeah, because I think I saw it when I was in uh, 19 or something, maybe. I don't know. But I remember I saw it like one of the first weekends, and another brilliant film in it is, like I said, Shug Avery is a character in it. She's a brilliant character, and her father doesn't talk to her because she lives sort of like he's a preacher, and she lives a sort of like what he calls a sinful life. But they have this great moment where she like she's playing at this juke joint, singing these juke joint songs, these sinful songs, I guess, and you can hear the music from the church playing, and she all of a sudden just says, "Speak to me, Lord, speak to me." And then as she starts to walk toward the church where her father, who doesn't talk to her, is preaching, all the people from the juke joint just follow her. And that scene, once again, like the ones I mentioned, is so spiritually grounded. It's so beautiful. So The Color Purple, yes, by Steven Spielberg. Brilliant film. Very honored to have that in my DVD library. And I can't believe I did not think of that one as being on my top 10 because, like I said, it possibly could be even higher. Because when I look at my top 10 of what I've done, I'm pretty sure when I got to six, uh, five was Cries and Whispers, and when I got to six and seven, I know seven was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, and I can't even remember what six was, but I'll have to go back. What was six? I don't know, but it's probably higher than eight, but eight is okay. I'll take eight. Uh, uh, but it is a brilliant film. It's a film that I'll never forget ever. So thank you for listening to my review, and I hope this review is watched. And just for the fact that you go out and watch it, it is really a family film too. It's one to watch with your family. It's because it's just about love, which is what it's all about, right, Mark, my therapist? Father God too. I mean, He knows that it's about love. So I'm off today. Don't know what God has planned today, but I know I've surrendered and accepted and trusted that whatever the day brings will be based on Him, His love, and His compassion, and His mercy. And I just only would desire to extend that to all of you out there. So have a blessed day. Love you, and love, and love some more, as I've said before. I rhyme. Every time I rhyme, I'm like, yeah, I rhyme. I'm Dr. Zeus. Green eggs and ham. Oh, where am my green eggs and ham? Sam, a lamb, took them to his buyer money. It's pretty funny. I love these making these videos. I don't do them out of vanity. I hope you know. I do them because I enjoy doing reviews, and even if it's not a review one or whatever, it's the video journaling ones that I do. I just love to just kind of like, I guess I like to hear the sound of my own voice, but not really. I mean, it's just I just enjoy some of the things I come up with, and it gives me a chance to like laugh like that. It's like that spontaneity because I guess I'm very lonely, you know, and so it's a way for me to just kind of commune with myself and commune with Father God. And 16 minutes, time to go. Bye.